Shane, let's head back in time now because on this day, 30 years ago, a certain Aussie cricketer shot to stardom, making his Ashes debut. A 23-year-old bloke with bleach blonde hair delivered what became known as the ball of the century. His name, of course, was Shane Keith Warne.
First ball, Bale is off. He's bowled him. Gatting can't believe it.
Gatting still doesn't know what hit him. No player has since matched Warnie's masterful skill on display that day in Old Trafford in '93. For more, let's bring in cricket journalist Gideon Haigh in Melbourne. Gideon, good morning. I mentioned Mike Gatting. He didn't know what had hit him at the time, and I think he's still stumped. What do you reckon?
I think he's probably these days pleased to be part of history.
Yeah.
To be the victim of the ball of the century is at least some sort of distinction. I don't think anyone was quite prepared for that delivery or that personality. We'd become accustomed over the previous generation to fast bowling being the decisive weapon in international cricket. But all of a sudden, from nowhere, this young man appears and he gives you in that ball a kind of it's everything you wanted to know about leg spin but were afraid to ask. Yeah, that ball has every attribute of the perfect leg break. And the amazing thing is that it's not a one-off. He carries on doing that for the rest of his career, for the next 15 years.
And it's worth noting that was the start of a marvellous cricketing career. Test cricketing career, of course, what he did in Ashes cricket was superb as well. Warnie's career, what did that ball do for his career as a starting point?
Well, I think well, obviously it made him famous, but, I mean, lots of cricketers have been famous through the years. What was unusual or even unique about Warnie was that he was so comfortable with fame. He loved fame, and fame loved him back. He was a guy who was very much at home in the limelight. It's almost as though he had expected to be famous, and this was a fulfilment of his destiny. Now, there are lots of bad advertisements for fame out there. You know, your Princess Diana's, Marilyn Monroe's. Shane is actually a very good advertisement for famous. He looked as though he was enjoying every second.
What I love about that particular delivery is the reaction of his teammates too. They share in this excitement. He was a revered figure inside that dressing room, yeah?
Yeah, he was a cricketer's cricketer. I mean, lots of... For a generation like ours, and, you know, I'm old enough to have watched the entirety of Warne's career, we'd been brought up on the idea that leg spin was this amazing, exotic, unique instrument that would change the course of cricket. And I think as we grew up, we sort of accepted this with a grain of salt. Could it really be as amazing as this? Could it really be as unique and distinctive as the old-timers told us? Well, all of a sudden, Warnie materialised in our midst, and it was even better. And, of course, no one has replaced him since then. Perhaps no one can.
Well, Gideon, you've got this new book out about the Ashes, and we're about to get into another Ashes campaign. Is it a time to celebrate Warne's impact, not just on the game, but on the impact he had against the old enemy, because it was that tussle between England and Australia was great because of Shane Warne's impact.
Yeah. Warnie accomplished something, I think, quite remarkable in the sense that he was as beloved in England as he was in Australia. He had this sort of irrepressibly comedic Aussiness that appealed to the English, so he played brilliantly in front of both crowds. I can remember the Oval Test in 2005, which was Warne's last series in England. He took 40 wickets in a losing series that summer. I can remember the Oval crowd chorusing, "We wish you were English, we only wish you were English."
Oh, he was a revered figure and still is. Before we let you go, Gideon, some news this morning from the cricketing world regarding David Warner. He's announced his plans or a timeline for retirement. I'm not so much surprised, but at least it tells us all or dictates when he wants to go out. Do you think he'll get his ideal retirement?
It's a risk to take, isn't it, to make that announcement when your position itself is on the line. But that is characteristic of Warner. He has always been a confident cricketer, even in adversity. He's always backed himself. Look, I wouldn't be surprised if Warner doesn't have a bad series in England this year. Was batting well in the IPL. The pitches will be different. The time of year will be different. We all know his travails in 2019 against Stuart Broad. It's a different series. And Warner, rather like Shane Warne, has always exhibited that capacity to come back from adversity. Just when you're doubting him, his best performances can be around the corner.
Gideon Haigh, thanks so much for your time. Good luck with the book and enjoy the cricket ahead. Of course, a quick note about the 2023 Ashes, exclusive, live and free, right here on 9 and 9 Now from Friday, June 16, Jane.
Hey there, Today fans. Sarah and...
What's my name again?
Oh my God, Carl.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel, though. Subscribe now for more news, special reports and amazing Aussie stories.
And Carl misbehaving,
Whoa,
of course.
that never happens.
Always happens.
What's she talking about?
Always happens.